what the town's concerns may or may not be. Secondly, and maybe that's whether or not would the town consider taking a position for or against these three different bills that are coming up. They overlap a little bit as well.
Sure.
Thank you.
You sound even better. We don't usually go back and forth on public comment, but yes, Tina Spears is one of our state rep is one of the one of the sponsors and is very active on it. She actually reached out to me this afternoon to say that the hearing was tomorrow. I passed that along to Sea Level Rise, who I believe is will be working with her and would provide testimony in favor from. Consent, is that good, Carlos? Yeah. Okay. Consent agenda. I have one note on the consent agenda. I don't know whether Mike's here, but Marianne, we have the approval of town service bids. I just in the future, we had this on another, I can't even remember which one recently. It would be very helpful if what went up on Clerkbase included the amounts of money that we're spending on these things. And maybe even how much it went up, because I know these are sort of routine services that we retain. But I you know, I haven't asked that before, and I think we need to.
So I had a similar note on here, which was so a lot of these there were just one bidder. On the ones where there were two bidders, do we take the lower bid? Is it strictly a money issue, or
we take the lowest qualified bid? In most cases, it's strictly money. Sometimes it's not. So
thanks.
All right, any other questions? If not, can I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Item number 4, continued public hearing, discuss and act on proposed amendments to the New Shoreham zoning ordinance. This is the new ADU ordinance. Before I open it up to the public, I just want to say, for those of you who have been following this, this has, I think, been one of those pieces of work that you hope to be able to get to do when you take these jobs. Council put together a group of 2 members of planning, 2 members of the council, 2 members of the public, because of a real consensus that our accessory dwelling unit ordinance needed to be updated and really recognized as a vital leg of the affordable housing stool. It was Chris Warfel, Alicia Miro, Gail Hall, Claire Cummings, myself, and Sven. Jen Brady was very helpful. Karen Browning, our land use solicitor, poor Karen, I think, did about 462 drafts of this ordinance because we had new questions every time we got together. Allison Ring from planning was very helpful, to say the least. It's sort of I believe we started this several months ago. Is that right, Gail? Would you say late spring last year, maybe? Was it June? Yeah. I just wanted to publicly acknowledge those people who had worked on it. I'm proud of the work. I will say it is not probably in all likelihood it is probably not our last review of this, because the legislature is doing its own thing on ADUs. But at some point, you have to act and then correct if we, if we need to correct it. I think I've been around legislatures enough in my life to know that they may never act. Who knows? So meanwhile, we're going to. And I don't know if there's any further public comment on this. Anybody? Anybody? Hi, Ken. Any questions from the council? This is, in my opinion, work we can really be proud of. I'm especially proud of this work, and if it doesn't work, tell us. If it's not getting traction, tell us. All we can do is try and recognize, I think, through our work that we are every day really making a good faith effort on one of the most, if not the most critical issue facing our community right now, and that's housing. So thank you all for all the work you've done, planning, et cetera.
And I think with any zoning document, you're going to, unless you're absolute superstar, superheroes, find
Yes, thank
something. Gave you a pause. If something comes up, it gets fixed, and sometimes
Yeah.
the one thing that nobody thought of is the first thing that comes up and you all go, ugh.
Yeah.
But
So true.
I think it's very, I think Keith says right on point. We can't wait for the assembly.
Yes. If there's no public comment or any questions, can I have a motion to approve this ordinance? Oh, yeah. Can I have a motion to close the public hearing that I didn't make a motion to open? There's a second.
Second.
Eventually I'll get the procedure right. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Can I have a motion to approve this ordinance?
So moved.
A second? Second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Thank you, guys. Item number 5. Is this item number 5 or 4? What are we on? We're on
5.
5. This is the pool solar energy. Millie, can you remind us what so just sort of by way of background, I think we discovered that we passed the wrong one.
Yes.
So,
So this was initially in front of you on February 5th.
Yeah.
And it came through as an application from Chris Warfel for a change to the solar ordinance. It went in front of the planning board, and the planning board's made some changes to that ordinance along with the planner, Allison Ring, and the attorney. I presented and advertised the wrong version of that ordinance, though just the original that Chris Warfel presented. So this is a correction to what was adopted on February 5th, and this does include the planning board's recommendations, and Chris Warfel is in agreement with that.
terrific. Thank you. This too, I don't have a pool, but I happened to be at planning when this one was being worked on. And I think Sosha and Claire and Gail, and I'm sure maybe there are other folks from planning here. It was really a wonderful example of good ordinance making because in this case, Chris Warfel had a position, walk the planning board through it. I think had some good solutions. The planning board had some suggestions that I thought were very positive, and here we are. Sort of the way it's the way you like it to work. Is there any? I know Chris probably can't. Yeah. Can I have a motion to open the public hearing? Second. All those in favor of opening the public hearing?
Aye.
Is there any comment from the public? Can I have a motion to close the public hearing? Second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, now we are on the matter. I would ask for a motion to approve this new solar electric systems for pools, please.
Motion to approve the new solar energy.
Second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, no. Ayes have it. Now on to number 6, public hearing on residential short-term rentals. Just to make this announcement publicly, we're going to do the hearing tonight, but we will not be voting on this on this tonight because I expect that we'll get a lot of input. That's the wonderful thing. So-
Yeah, so for the record, I'll be recusing myself. So Nancy Pike raised a concern because I have an in, that it was a conflict of interest. The ethics board didn't find that, but because my mom rents her house, there could be a conflict depending on where the ordinance lands. So they won't make a determination until the ordinance is in its final draft so they can review it. So.
Thank you, Neil. Did you have something? I see your green light on. Terrific. Can I have a motion to open the public hearing? How do you do? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed, no. The hearing is open. Who's up? Oh, Mary.
Can you be sure that microphone's on,
I am
please?
here representing, is this on? I am here, Mary Stover. I'm here representing Beach Real Estate. My business partner Nancy Pike and I own it fully and are the principal and brokers at the agency. We have about 55 homeowners that we represent. And our points are that you state in the regulations on page 1 at 8 paragraph, the chapter 8, paragraph 320, that in the opinion, non-regulated short-term rentals have a negative impact on our community. We would like to know, first of all, what is the knowledge you have supporting this evidence? First, that it's only short-term rentals that cause these. And I will quote in your paragraph here, congestion, noise, pollution, disorderly behavior cited in the ordinances. It is our contention that our Beach Real Estate, all the other agencies that have realtors who run their rental business, that we are highly regulated. We are regulated probably more than any other business you can think of besides possibly the police department and the medical center. We sign contracts with all of our homeowners. They outline what equipment has to be in the house. They certify that they have working smoke detectors. We also require fire extinguishers to be at the homes. We require them to put down the number of beds based on their septic system, and that's what we sleep. That's how we advertise the homes. That's how we price them, and that's how we manage them. In addition to that, when the renters rent, they sign another contract. That contract states exactly how they're going to behave and the penalties involved. The penalties are severe. If you misbehave to the point where you are disturbing, we can evict you, keep your rental, and also your security deposit, which is a sizable amount of money. It cites here that you are going to have penalties in excess of $200 or $250 per day for any kind of violations. I think our contracts handle that quite nicely. We can handle it directly with the person that's there. We have the clout to do it. Just wondering, how is the town going to administer this in a person's private home? Are we actually going to go to houses and knock on doors at 12 o'clock at night and see who's sleeping in what beds? Count their cars, check their registrations and their license plates. If we're required to do all this, there has to be a way that you can enforce it and administrate it. If you can't show demonstration of the necessity of it, the administration of it, or the enforcement of it, I think it's kind of silly to come up with the new ordinance to control ordinances that have not been enforced. So in summation, want to know if this ordinance is actually solving the problem that you see, and you said what they are right here. If that's actually what this ordinance is for, if you can tell us that, and the supporting evidence. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Hey, Sue.
Sue Gibbons. I'd like to follow Mary as a, not as a real estate agent, but as somebody who rents their house privately. My husband and I have been renting our house for over 20 years out here. And I understand that there may be issues related to private rentals. The only piece of this ordinance or legislation or whatever we want to call it that makes some sense to me for private renters like myself, we do not use a real estate agent, is the designation of someone who is responsible. So my husband and I live here and we don't have any issues with being responsible for if there are problems with our renters. My neighbors all have my phone number and I would encourage them to call if there's an issue at my house. Above and beyond that, of course, you could call the police if there are other issues. And I've always told my neighbors that they should indeed do that, should they be hearing ridiculously loud music late at night or whatever else is happening. But there are pieces of this that I feel are just unenforceable unless you are going to hire a legion of people to do it. So the question of 2 individuals per bedroom, maybe it's not really meant to read like that,
Yeah.
but it does read like that, which
Yeah.
means I think you're going to have to change the wording.
Yeah.
Because surely you're not going to peer in the windows and try to find out how many people are sleeping in
That's
each
gonna be
bedroom.
Tristan's
Well,
job.
maybe Tristan is, but it doesn't
He's
seem
small.
like a good idea. If I need to register my home with the town hall, no issues with giving you my phone numbers and addresses and all that stuff. We do indeed use contracts for our rentals. So, but if you're renting by owner, it doesn't mean there's not a contract in place. We're contracted to, my house has 3 bedrooms. We invite 6 guests. And once in a very, very great while, somebody has an infant that they say is number 7. And I'll say, oh,
Yeah.
so bring the baby, that's number 7. But I've also heard people say things like, well, there's 6 adults. I'll say, yeah, okay. So 6 adults, how many children? Because they count, right?
Mhm.
6 adults and 4 children is 10 people.
Mhm.
And now that's too many on a septic system.
Right.
So what I'm saying is that you don't want to expect that all of your private renters are not following through on the same kinds of things that your real estate agents are following
Right.
through on, because I think most of us are. And if you're after the people who aren't doing that, then you still have to ask the question, can you enforce the rules?
Mhm.
Because to me, if you make me sign something that's unenforceable, it makes it seem less real to me, because I can say, yes, we'll do this, but nobody can make me do this because nobody's going to look in the windows and count this up. So it just makes it seem like a not real activity, if that makes sense.
So if you have some thoughts, and I'm not putting you on the spot now.
Sorry, no, it's fine.
Just if you have some thoughts about refining that bedroom thing, because you hit on the head, it's taken out of the state statute, and it really is about septic burden. That's really why we went
Right.
to bedroom.
I think I would tie it to septic burden because, for instance, my house has 3 bedrooms and it has a 3-bedroom septic system. So if does that tie to a certain number of people? I'm not sure, right? I mean.
Well,
So-
yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, so maybe Nick could explain this better because we did get several emails about this and I did call Nick the other day to have him clarify, like, is this language as clear as it could be, right? And I'm going to do a poor job. I'm going to let Nick do a good job, but we're talking about the septic system.
Right,
Like,
sure.
so or this is talking about the septic system, not the bedrooms, right? So you could put beds in every room in your house. Your septic system is what says
Oh, absolutely.
how many
And
beds are.
that's
Am I saying
exactly
right,
the
Nick?
reason I use for my renters when they say, well, we don't mind if the children sleep on the floor. I say,
Right.
well, I mind if the children sleep on the floor because they have to go to the bathroom, don't they? And
Right.
there can only be 6 people here.
Right.
So, and I wish I thought about it, Keith, to see if I could think of
Mhm.
language that would make that clearer.
Mhm.
But I don't have it in my head, at least not yet.
Yeah, just, that's why I don't want to put you on the spot, but
Yeah.
you know where we're coming from and trying to figure that
Yeah.
out.
Now, smoke detectors and carbon monoxide, absolutely require it, but can you actually send somebody up there to check? If you can, fine. I welcome people in to make sure my smoke detectors work,
Yeah.
but I just, my main point is don't enact rules that you cannot enforce.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask, Nick, could you address that thing about the bedrooms that we talked
Sure.
about the other day? Because it is a little confusing.
Sure. So as drafted, the occupancy language speaks to the maximum occupancy of the dwelling unit. So the house, if you will. And it says the maximum occupancy for the dwelling unit shall be 2 persons per bedroom. So that's a method of calculation. So if you have a house, a dwelling unit that has 3 bedrooms, you can rent that to 6 people. The caveat with that is Keith's point, and it goes to an environmental and safety point with respect to septic capacity. So to my example of a house with 3 bedrooms where you can have 6 people, if there's only a septic capacity for 2 bedrooms, then you're hamstrung by that septic capacity. But most houses have appropriate septic systems for how many bedrooms they have. So we've seen in a number of letters from folks saying, what if I have 3 people sleep in a bedroom? The town has no interest in this ordinance, has no interest and does not speak to how many people actually sleep in a bedroom. It simply calculates how many folks you can rent to based on the number of bedrooms within that dwelling unit. Does that clarify a little bit, Molly?
It does, Nick. It's very helpful.
Okay, thank you.
Follow up on that
Please.
point, and then I prepared something because I'm not speaking. Oh, sorry, Phoebe McMillan.
Thank you for your email.
Just
Phoebe.
on the bedroom side, I have a 3-bedroom, but one of our rooms is four bunks. We have 3 children. So, how does that figure into the 2-bedroom? Or the 2-person, 2 adults, I don't know, 2 children, I think that just adds some complications. There was a person who spoke at the September 2023 meeting that also raised this issue about, and I think as the homeowner, I'm responsible for my septic. I too don't want 10 people renting the house, but I think the homeowners are the ones that are gonna have to deal with any violations, environmental impact of that. Anyway, I did prepare something, bear with me, it's a little bit long, but for full disclosure, I rent my house maybe 2 or 3 weeks in the summer via Beach Realty. This helps us pay for maintenance, some property taxes, some upgrades on the house. As a resident homeowner, I don't support the ordinance regulating residential short-term rentals on the grounds that it is redundant, duplicative, burdensome, and difficult to enforce. Considering that there are already ordinances, zone regulations, processes, and other state laws that can achieve the same leverage and enforcement, this proposed ordinance is not necessary to address the issues that the ordinance has designed for it to improve. In addition, stated by many in previous town council meetings, the council has not provided data supporting evidence from the police or the residential community to really support the need for this ordinance. One question that has been raised but not answered is where is the supporting evidence that short-term rentals are a source of noise, congestion, pollution, and disorderly behavior as cited in ordinance paragraph 8320C. I can think of numerous incidents and activities that have created noise, congestion, pollution, disorderly behavior, for which there is extensive data, documentation, video documentation, evidence that the town has not enforced these existing regulations or addressed by creating new ordinances to control. Under this ordinance, in section C, it states, short-term rentals have been a source of noise, congestion, pollution, disorderly behavior. Sorry, some short-term rentals have been a source of noise, congestion, pollution, and disorderly behavior involving renters and other persons. And I'm underlining, emphasizing the word some. According to the dictionary, some is defined as an unknown, undetermined, unspecified unit or thing. It's an unspecified amount, at least a small amount of something. This is the true definition. Does some in this case mean 1% of the short-term rentals, 5%, 10%, 20% of the rentals on this island? Can the council please quantify and share this data with the community so we can understand how big of a problem this really is? This ordinance will require significant investment in resources to manage and enforce. It will be a burden for the town, in addition to the homeowners, the agents, and all the people that are involved in managing the rentals. Why generate new regulations that we have to enforce for a problem that is not widespread and isolated at best, and for which there are existing processes, regulations, people, and platforms that are managing and reporting on these short-term rentals? Before creating new regulations and new rules, shouldn't the town try and leverage existing zoning ordinances, building codes, noise ordinances, state laws to enforce enforce these isolated incidences versus the whole short-term rental community? Not only would this be easier, but it would also be less resource intensive and less expensive for everyone. Section 8-320D states, by adopting these regulations contained in the chapter, short-term rentals can have a positive effect on the health, safety, and welfare of this community. These regulations will mitigate the disruptive effects that unregulated short-term rentals can have on neighborhoods in the community as a whole. I pose the following questions and considerations to the council. How can you be so sure? What proof do you have? What other towns have implemented similar ordinances that we can learn from? What were the unintended consequences of these ordinances? What resources will be required that were actually effective? What benefits, positive impacts, and how effective have other towns been in regulating their short-term rentals with positive outcomes? Overall, I am very concerned that this proposed ordinance is redundant, duplicate, and burdensome. I am concerned that the proposed ordinance is not based on data, but based on hearsay. I am concerned that the ordinance will increase bureaucracy and result in unintended consequences. Example, homeowners stop renting, leading to a reduction in income, tourists, revenue for the town, have negative impacts on the local economy, seasonal businesses, and rather than increase tax revenue for the town, it may decrease it. I'm concerned that this ordinance is inequitable. It mainly impacts residents and homeowners that must rent their houses to maintain their homes and property, to support their families, to maintain their retirement, their quality of life, and or supplemental income so they can remain on this island and part of the special community. Many of the residents that spoke in previous town meetings on this issue cited various hardships, duplicate work, redundancies, burdens, and the burdens that this ordinance will impose. Many simply cannot not afford, still a negative, sorry. Many simply can't afford not to rent their home, unlike some wealthier homeowners. I oppose this ordinance because it puts the burden on the majority of homeowners, property managers, real estate agents, and businesses that are already abiding by regulatory requirements, noise and zoning ordinance, and other state laws. Almost done. When a government does not trust its citizens and fails to manage some bad actors in the community and chooses to create a burden on its law-abiding citizens by overregulation and inspecting their bedrooms, then the citizens themselves start to not trust their government. I oppose this ordinance because it is not representative of this community, and I believe that in its current form, it is not going to be a benefit to the majority in this community. Lastly, I want to note that according to the latest Block Island Residents Association survey, majority of the respondents did not name short-term rentals as the top issues that require our attention, but rather reducing the deer population, increasing moped regulation, preserving iconic view sheds, increasing town enforcement of existing beach ordinances, increasing affordable housing, imposing higher landing fees to fund issues related to increased tourism, shoreline access, easing traffic congestion. After considering the feedback from the community, I trust that the council will agree that the proposed ordinance in Article 7 of 8320-331 is not the most effective tool to implement, and it will fail to address and deal with the few problematic rentals and any of the more pressing issues that really require attention. Thank you for listening, for your consideration.
Thank you, Phoebe.
Thanks. Can I
else?
clarify something?
Yes,
So-
sent that into the town earlier.
yes, yes.
I'm-
No,
I'm
no, we
also-
got it.
I'm also gonna say that if you sent us an email, we read it.
Yeah.
You don't have to read it. So I appreciate that, but the bedrooms, the bedrooms, I don't know, like, if this reads differently than we intended it to read. Nobody's coming to inspect the bedrooms. Nobody, even if we're joking about it, is gonna be peeking in the windows and doing a bed check. It's not summer camp. This is the owner, this would be, if we pass it, this would be the owner certifying on their application that they are going to be renting to the number of people that can legally, according to their septic system, be in the house. That's it. Pretty simple, straightforward. What you do when you're there yourself has nothing to do with this. So, you know, if your kids have a sleepover or your grandkids come, or that's your deal, you know, but when you're renting, that's the only thing that applies here. I guess, does that make sense? Okay.
Anybody else? Anybody? Can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
I've been really impressed with the level of detail and the extent of the comments. We will give plenty of notice if and when we are going to act on this. So rest assured. But we're not going to act on it tonight. Thank you all very much for coming. Don't all leave. We have a lot of stuff going on. Somebody just mentioned mopeds. We have a resolution on mopeds. All right, Millie. We have to act to set on a date for the public hearing for regarding tour businesses.
And if you will set that for
May 7th
May 7th.
at 7 o'clock.
Okay. Can I have a motion to set this item for a public hearing on May 7th? Oh, wait, Neil, we got to get Neil.
Oh, yeah. It is. We do. Yeah, we usually have that meeting on Monday night, and it has traditionally gets pushed to Tuesday, and then you have a work session on Wednesday. It's a tough little. Yes.
Hi, Neil.
That's where we
Welcome
start.
back.
Yeah.
I was just asking for a motion to set the public hearing date for the bike tour ordinance for May 7th. What's that?
10th. Motion for the meeting to be set on
Great.
May
Se-
10th.
Is there a second? Is it the 10th or the
7th.
No, it'd be 7th.
the 7th?
Correct,
Yes.
to the
Yeah.
7th.
Is there a second? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. Set a public hearing date for application of Judith Rose and Rose Farm Inn to amend the zoning map to change a portion of Plat 8 Lot 262 from RB zone to RCM zone. Is that the 7th as well?
Yes, it is.
Can I have a motion to set that for a public hearing on May 7th?
Motion to set the roads to May 7th.
Is there a second? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Discuss, item number 9,
Keith,
discuss an act on.
interrupt for a moment. I apologize. How you doing? Nick and I were just talking. We were thinking about the short-term rental continuance. Might
Yes.
be a good idea to continue that to a date certain to avoid
Oh, right,
any issues
okay.
advertising, things like that.
All right. Can we, do we have to reconsider? Or can I just sort of go back to that item and say, we're going to ask for a motion to postpone it till May 7th?
I think so, unless you have any idea that you might open the public hearing back up,
Yeah.
which I don't know if that's the case.
Okay, can I have a motion to reopen the public hearing?
Motion.
Housekeeping, guys.
Yeah.
Is
Motion
there,
to open
is there a
the public
second?
hearing.
All those in favor indicate by saying aye. All right, we need a motion to postpone, continue this to a date certain. Thank you.
Motion to continue this to a date certain.
And the date would be.
May 7th.
Every day, sir.
Yes. Is there a second? Nobody? Any second? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Can I have a motion to close the public hearing again?
Motion to close the public hearing.
Is there a second?
No, because we're gonna.
Oh, we're not. That's right, of course. God,
It's okay, Keith.
Millie, I'm so, I'm just really trying to close these public hearings. Oh, goodness.
I was hoping you just gonna blow it away.
So, are we on that item number? Thank you, James and Nick. Appreciate it. It's one of the reasons we have you. Catch my mistakes.
I have a motion.
I have a motion regarding item number 8 by Mr. Payne to set the public hearing. I didn't catch
A
a
second was from Martha.
Thank you. And was there a vote on that as well? Did I-
Yes.
Okay.
Let's get Jeff on first.
Thank you.
I'll tell you. I don't know. I guess we'll find out at the public hearing. Discuss an act on resolution regarding moped legislation.
Just 1 second.
Yes.
I need to recuse myself. I work for one of the moped.
Oh, okay. Great. Terrific. Just, I don't know if this is the first time you're recused. You got to fill out a form that. What's that? Yeah, just.
Just wander around.
Yes. For your background, and the public's background, with the expiration of the federal court consent agreement, the town and the moped operators are free to beseech their governments for legislation. I have been talking to Tina Spears, our state rep, Alana DeMario, our state senator, about possibly updating a statute that has not changed in quite some time as these statutes go. They asked for a resolution of the town council so that they can do their work. I'd be happy to read it if people want. It's pretty straightforward. It's data, contains a lot of data, actually from the medical center, from the medical center. And again, ask for an update, and look forward to talking to legislators and anybody else who's interested in what that might look like. Any comments, questions? Hey, John.
You made a comment, stating that the town and the moped operators
Mhm.
decided, I don't remember that.
No, I didn't say the town and the moped operators decided. I said in the federal consent agreement that was active for 25 years, there was a provision in it that said neither party could talk to the legislature.
Mhm.
That expired, and now either of us can do that. That's what I said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And the reason why it expired,
Is because we decided not to, not to re-up it, yes.
Right.
Yeah,
That's-
absolutely.
That's what I was a little.
Right, no, I'm sorry if I didn't make that clear,
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
but that was definitely our decision, yes. Can I have a motion to approve this resolution? Go ahead, please.
My concern is that I'm not sure it's broad enough. I'm sorry. I'm not sure it's broad enough because as whereas over the last 20 years, the number, size, range of vehicles on Block Island has increased significantly. And I think that's certainly true. But that immediately follows a reference to the motor scooters. And the rental motor scooter number has decreased, and I just don't want to get hung up on that. But I would, if there's some word that can be put into the number, size, range of all vehicles on Block Island or,
Of all vehicles.
because I'm so concerned about so many things that are gonna possibly fall through the, I think we all, if we're downtown for more than 10 minutes, we have these
Yeah.
scooters, we have these things on, we all know what we've got. I
Let's
don't need
put
to go
all
through
in
it.
front of vehicles.
I'd just like to add,
Yes, John.
if I may,
Yes.
you were saying that there was an, increase in size of vehicles, but there hasn't been the mopeds, there hasn't been an increase in the amount of moped rentals. You know, so I
Right.
don't understand that whole question.
Oh, it does,
how
it
becomes-
it doesn't actually say there's been an increase in moped.
No, no, I understand that, but why would it be our issue? Should it be? There hasn't
It's
been.
not your issue, it's the
Well, I
town's
mean,
issue.
no, I
The-
understand
the-
that, but I
You know,
mean-
the thing is, if you
Yeah.
have two Suburbans driving by one another on Water
Mhm.
Street that are now gigantic, followed by the Grand Wagoneer and my pickup truck, that's a little more challenging with mopeds and bicycles on the side of the road than it used to be.
Yeah, so maybe there should be something done about the Suburbans, you know?
Oh, okay,
Bring
what,
it.
why, oh, no,
Bring
no.
it. I'm in.
Why can't we just say, number, size, range of a multitude of vehicles?
Of a multitude of vehicles.
Because some have gotten smaller, and I don't want to get hung up again.
Yes.
You know, the one
Yeah.
that's gotten smaller, getting
Do you
something
have that,
thrown out.
Ellie? That's fine with me. Can I have a motion to approve that with that change, please? Is there a second? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. Thank you. Let's see now. Oh, yeah, thanks. Discuss and act on harbors items, 2024-2025 shellfish closure. No, you stopped us from doing it.
No,
Yes, you did.
you had a bad page and
You
throw it
didn't
out.
like the map.
No, the map was fine. The narrative was wrong. The narrative is always wrong. I have people who can attest to that.
All right.
Call Doug Michelle.
That's right.
You really want to go.
As if he abides by the closures. All right, is this square now? This is all square? So there's the problem. Come up to the, yes, you do. Yes, you do. We want to quiz you extensively. So the issue was, if I recall, Martha.
Green light's on.
If I recall correctly, there was one issue was that the state goes sunrise and we go sunset. Another issue was that there was some question about whether the maps and the words matched. I think they do now. I'm comfortable, you know, with this. I was comfortable before, but are there any questions from the council of our distinguished harbor master about this shellfish closure matter?
I think I clarified it to those that asked the questions, so.
I thought we were fine last time. So.
Can I have a motion to approve?
Glad that you fixed it.
Can I have a motion to approve the shellfish closure rules? Second,
Second.
all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
I
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Fee schedule increases for, to shellfish, finfish violations. Uh,
I think it's pretty clear what I stated in the memo to you. If you have any questions on it, I have a few statistics that I can share as
I'd
to
love to hear
why.
statistics about why.
From our wardens just last year, we issued over 3,000 licenses, 30 written violations, 26 included undersized clams. And that is why I want these increased. And I think it's fair.
You know, Kate, I want to say that I feel like you are so on top of this stuff, and I feel like we're lucky to have you. If this is your recommendation, I'm in.
It's only promoting the program that has grown exponentially.
Yes.
It's insane how many people we have out there clamming daily, weekly, over the summer. I've got 3 wardens coming back. And there's at least 2 people out on those flats, July and August.
Yeah.
So.
Fantastic.
Can I just ask, so some of these fees, like the fee for no gauge, what was it previously?
$50.
Oh, so it was 50 and it's gonna.
It was all $50 and it was all just a general, we didn't have a specific.
Okay.
We didn't
so-
have a specific violation, so I'm gonna make a new violation book for the shellfish wardens that they can carry. It's not so generalized under, like I stated in the top, the section 9-121. That's the only thing that I can write a violation out of right now, and it's only $50.
And my sense is that
Got it.
these wardens are pretty rational about this stuff. And,
Yeah, and
it's,
you know,
it's
it's
education,
an
but
educational.
yes, right.
It's an educational program. We did write, like I said, we wrote 30 violations versus 4 the year before, but some of these violations this past year were over the top.
Right.
And it's just inexcusable.
Right.
So,
Gotcha.
and I don't want to put signs everywhere, but we definitely put more signage up. Everyone's aware when they get their license, when they renew it. So.
Is there a provision in this to just send Hillary after these scofflaws?
You don't want Hillary.
Can I have a motion to approve these new fines for violations?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Thank you, Kate.
Yes, I think we're gonna make probably a sign for the shack and maybe at Andy's Way and Cormorant Cove where people are actually going out there. But yeah. And we can put it up in the shack.
No, what's the thing in the warrant about the shellfish? I don't know about that. There's a line in the warrant about we do every year.
Yeah, it authorizes the,
But it's like, I thought it was a limit on the amount.
yeah,
Yeah, it's $200. Thought. Thank
So
you.
we'll have to change the warrant as well. Yep,
Okay.
fantastic.
And timing jail also. That's in the
That's
warrant.
right, that is in there.
Yeah.
Have to tell Susan that she likes those scallops. We are, as I said, at the beginning, we're doing budget on Tuesday. The next item is to receive an update on the medical center construction project, because we always like to do something very positive. You guys want to come up? Thank you. You and I did.
How you doing? I'm Charlie Weber, Bob Ignari. Bob's the architect for the medical center. I'm the owner's project manager. Here to give you an update. Some of you have seen it. You've been up there and taken a tour. For those who haven't, call me. I'll give you a tour. Small fee for that, but, you know, everything's going great. We're on time. We're right where we thought we were gonna be monetarily. The residence section, which is a separate project from the medical center itself, is actually gonna finish 2 months ahead of schedule on budget, which is then the contractor is gonna stay there and redo the Davidson house because he's opened up this time slot and we're gonna take advantage of it.
That's fantastic.
On or around June 15th, phase 1 will be complete, where they will break through into the new building. And after that, we'll take over the old building and renovations will start on that. And all services will be provided. Not all services, will be 2 exam rooms available in the old building, but the whole new addition on the first floor will be open for business. That's where we're at.
By the way, guys, if you, Martha and Mary Ann and I did a tour a couple of Fridays ago. It's really worth doing because it's kind of moving in its own way because it's sort of what we've needed for, I think, a long time. And the work that you've done on the design, Bob, and the work that you do every day, Charlie, on it is really just fantastic.
It's happening.
Yeah. Would you just repeat that there's a project on Block Island that is finishing 2 months early?
No, and I'd like that struck from the record.
Exactly. Any questions from the community about this? This is a really exciting community thing that's happening up on that hill. But thank you, guys.
All right.
Really, really appreciate it.
Have a great night.
Have a good night. Receive and act on the report of the town manager. Mary Ann, you're up.
Okay, you have your report in front of me. I'm not going to go through it. I'll just highlight a few things that are going on in this report. When you see Human Services, Kim. Sure, you want. Kim is, I got it online. Kim is extremely busy. Mike Shea, our DPW director, is attending a training session that is being put on by the Interlocal Trust Management. It's a supervisory training. The trust has done this for about 14 years now, and there usually is a wait list for this program. Mike Shea was fortunate enough to apply and secure a spot. And so he's doing that. It's 5 Wednesdays, and he's finished up his first session today after the orientation. A couple of things, administration, we have advertised for a lot of the support work that needs to be done at the Thomas property, includes the demolition, HVAC, electric, landscaping, and things of that nature. Bid to do, I think it's April 5th. So you will probably start seeing, as soon as the council awards that bid, we'll move forward with the demolition and then moving foundations. We're still anticipating the structures sometime mid to late spring. So we're still very optimistic about that. You all aware
And that's on budget.
it's all on budget. And once we get these bids, we'll be able to really see that it's on budget, but Tom has done some research prior. I did send a letter to the Department of Transportation regarding Spring Street and Cornet Road. I did receive a phone call today, but I was out of the office. Pam Carter did call me, so I'll be reaching out to her. She did say in a message that they were meeting next week on the letter that we sent and plus the pictures that we had sent. Couple other things. One thing that is not in my report that just has come to my attention. Dave Sniffen, if you remember correctly, we received and applied for 2 vans through RIPTA. We thought the vans will be here before the summer. It looks like that's not going to happen. Looks like they'll be here towards the end of the summer, early fall.
Okay.
However, we still have the van that we did purchase that will be allowed for our summer programs. We had that van last year and it worked out extremely well. Kate just sent me an email this afternoon. And everyone has approved the harbor management plan, and it has one more in-house meeting.
And you have to start writing the new one on.
And they said that hopefully will take place next week. So I almost hesitated to say that, Kate, but I did So that's encouraging news. Kate has been on top of that, I swear, since the day I walked through the door and started this position. And that's it, pretty much for the town manager's report. I encourage you to read it. It has a lot of information from all the.
Any questions for Mary Ann?
I have two questions about harbors, things that we talked about a while ago. And I'm not sure how they're wrapping up. We talked about requiring insurance for liveaboards in the harbor. And I'm wondering where we are on that. And the other was limiting this season for liveaboards in the harbor to the term that the pump out boat is available.
I don't think they've done anything with either of those, so let Kate and I get back and we'll get back to you guys. So that was-
Okay.
I would urge people to read this report because when I read it, I thought, this is the answer to, what do you guys do all winter? It's really pretty extraordinary, and I'll pick on Paul and Kate because they're here, but we could say it about every department that's included here. The work that's going on that we don't see, but are the beneficiaries of, is really impressive. And I just want to say from this side of the table for us, thank you for what you're doing. Paul, I think there's you can really sense a lot of what you're doing, and Kate in the summertime can sense a lot of your expertise, and it really matters to us, and we appreciate it. Thank you. David?
David Lewis, 1335 Coonwas Road. Hopefully this is just an easy question for Mary Ann. We're building a pretty impressive pile of topsoil. I think it's all topsoil up at Isaac's Corner, coming from the airport. And I was wondering what's really going on with that topsoil. And in the back of my head, I know there was a plan to clean up after Surtex left in some manner that I can't really remember what it was, but at least make it look as no worse than it did before Surtex moved in. But I would like to think that maybe there's something more elegant planned.
Let me look into that. You thought it would be an easy answer. I can't answer that, so let me look into that.
Okay, well,
I was not aware there was.
well, there's no urgency, especially if it's going to take some planning to actually make something elegant.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good question.
I guess I did hear buzz in town that there was, I guess it was from, well, I won't say who it was from, a credible source. There was quite a lot of uncertainty as to where all that was going to go. So I was delighted to see it actually went on town property. Whether it's going to stay there, I guess, is part of the question.
Yeah.
Okay, we amend that to the old harbor, so the old harbor task force can have to deal with it. They're good at dealing with it.
Discuss and act on board, commission and committees. Did somebody want to speak? No. We have, do we have a name for the police advisory?
Yeah. 4 letters.
Yeah,
4?
that's right, we do. Would you mind leaving them, because honest, and you know what would be really helpful if it's, and I say this, if it's not a hassle. If you would have a highlighted thing that, that jumps to those letters, because otherwise we have to go through and find them. So like on clerk base, you know what I mean?
I was not there, but I will.
Yeah, maybe it usually is, but it wasn't. It's not on this week, and maybe it just clerk base never did it. But so we'll do that next. We have a vacancy on Commission on Motor Vehicles for Hire for a non-licensee. We have Sewer District Commission, someone to join Phoebe at Water. Aren't you doing water? Sewer and water. Oh, okay, great. Yeah, terrific, fantastic. Thank you for doing that. Really appreciate it. Recruit friends. George, Dave, exactly, exactly. Even if he's not interested, we're gonna put him on next time. Can I have a motion to adjourn, please? Yeah.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Thank you, guys.